Hi, welcome back. Certainly glad you could join us today because here we are, the last show of the 25th series. So I thought today we'd just do a little painting. It's a lot of fun and I think you'll enjoy it. So let's start out and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with us. While they're doing that, let me show you what I got done up here. I have my regular old 18 by 24 inch pre-stretched double prime canvas, but you use any size that's convenient for you. And I've covered the entire canvas today with just a very thin, even coat of the liquid clear. So it's all wet and slick and it's ready to go. So let's just do a fun little painting today. I thought maybe I'd do one today just using an old 2-inch brush basically and a few nice colors and just sort of let it happen. Just sort of let it happen. We'll take a little bit of the Prussian blue, very little. When you're using this liquid clear, you use very little paint normally, very little. Okay, let's go up in here. Now maybe we'll just take that blue and we'll just dance in just a happy little sky. Takes very little color though. Very little color. It'll almost look like a wash when it's done. There. Maybe I'll add a little black to my brush and blue. A little blue and black and yeah, just change the flavor a little bit here and there. There. Maybe we'll do a little winter scene today and for that I'll make it just a little grayer. But on the other hand, let's add a little crimson and make it sparkle a little bit. This piece of canvas truly is your world, and in your world, you paint anything you want. You use any colors that you want. Just whatever makes you happy. There, just something like that. Now this is a very, very transparent color on top of the clear. But if you wanted to make the indication of maybe a happy little cloud up there, you could just take the corner of the brush, a very small amount of titanium white, for example, and just spin in using top corner, just spinning, round and around and around, just like so, and create the illusion of just maybe a happy little cloud shape. It's far, far away, just barely can see it, and it just sort of floats around there and has a good time. Something about like that. All right, and maybe, okay, tell you what, let's make us a nice brown color. We'll use some alizarin crimson and sap green in about equal proportions. I think this is one of the nicest browns made. I like making brown out of these two colors. There we go, because you can sort of take it to the reddish side or the green side, depending on the mood or what you're trying to achieve in your painting. Okay, let me wipe the old knife off there. We just wipe the knife on a paper towel. That brush seems to be doing okay. We'll just keep using it. Tap just a very small amount of that. Very, very small amount into the bristles like so. I'm just tapping in the top corner. Okay? Now maybe, might even wipe off any excess. I want very little color. That's good. Maybe wipe it a little more. I want very, very little color in here. I want to just make an indication of just a happy little tree that lives far, far back here in the distance, far away. There. Don't want a lot of detail, too far away. We're just going to put some very gentle little shapes. Just barely can make out what they are. They're too far away. There we go. Something like so. Now, sometimes it's nice when you're using this clear to give the indication of light coming through. So for that, I'm going to take a little Indian yellow, little yellow ochre. Once again, very, very small amount of paint. And down in here, I'm just going to tap some of this. I'm going to have some trees in here, and this hopefully will come out looking like maybe there's some backlight coming through there. You could also do this using white just with a little bit of yellow acrylic in it and put it on before you start the painting. But today I thought we'd just do it this way. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Maybe we'll put a little sky up in here too. What the heck? Well, I got that old brush. Maybe some of that will show through. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to have trees and where we're not, so we'll just put a little color on the canvas in case. Now then, I'm going to use all kinds of alizarin crimson, a little touch of black, but once again, I can't say it enough. I'm using such a small amount of paint, it's almost not worth talking about. It's so small. There we go, and change the flavor a little bit so it stands out there. Very, very small amount of paint. There. I want this to be very soft, almost like a watercolor. Sometimes I like to do oil paintings that have a watercolor look to them. And this is one of the ways that we do them. Okay. All kinds of things. Maybe over here, a little more of that brown that we made. And we just tap in indication of a little bush. And we just let them fade right on down to nothing. Right on down to nothing. And when you do your painting, you may want it to be a little brighter, a little stronger. It's up to you. Show you a little trick here. This is fun. Take a liner brush, shake off all the excess paint. You might even wipe it on a paper towel. And then very lightly just touch the canvas, and we'll make the indication of all kinds of little sticks and twigs just with a clean brush. And you just, that paint thinner on there reacts. It reacts with the liquid clear, and you can make all these things using nothing. It's just removing paint. Sometimes we apply paint, sometimes we remove it, depending on what we want to accomplish. Takes a minute for it to come up, but look at there. See? Wherever you think there should be one, that's the right place. And if you want to make it look like a watercolor painting, sometimes you can also take fan brush, put some paint thinner on it, shake off all the excess thinner. Just really shake it off. Then go up here and flick it. Just flick a little paint thinner right on to that color. And once again, the paint thinner and the liquid clear will have a violent reaction, and you'll get all these gorgeous little things right in there. Maybe we'll flick even a little up here. You decide where you want it. Something like so. I like to put it right down at the base of all these trees and bushes and stuff. And I sort of like that effect. And you can work in layers when you're doing that. You can put some in and put a layer underneath it and just keep working layer after layer. It helps create that illusion of depth and distance in your painting. And to me, that's what makes your painting special. Maybe there's another little tree that lives right here, wherever. There we go. This is a nice way of making the indication of little trees and bushes if you've had problems making them any other way. Because here, all you do is add a little color to the top of your brush and just tap. And they almost happen automatically. There we go. Maybe this is a winter scene. Let's have some nice snow in here. I like to do winter scenes sometimes that have a lot of warm colors in them. Winter scenes can get so cold, you almost have to wear a coat to work on them. So let's take an old fan brush, a little bit of the titanium white. Maybe I'll put a little touch of the Prussian blue in there, just to blue it down. See there? But just a little. I want it to look like maybe there's a little tiny bit of shadow. That's enough. Let's go up in here. And then we can take an old brush and go back in here and begin picking out areas that we're looking for. That easy. Gonna lift up so it just disappears back here. See there? Just work right around that bush. You can just put things wherever you want them. Just lift it up, lift up. That easy. There. Ooh, that looks sort of cold already. Sort of cold already. There we go. Wherever you think these things should be. Let's take a little blue, a little black, put some white in it. Don't want it too strong. Blue and black. And maybe right in here, I'll do something about like that. But notice we're curving these strokes. Curving them. It'll go right on off like that. And what I'm doing, I want to make maybe the indication of a little bank here. Like maybe there's a little stream that lives right in here. Maybe it's all frozen. And all we can see is this little area right here. There. See? Something like so. Now we can go back to our white. Put in all kinds of little things. And you could do this with a 2-inch brush if you wanted to. I'm just using a little fan brush because it happens to be available. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There we go. Put a little more titanium white on the brush. We can come right up to the edge here. Maybe occasionally it slides over. See there? Just like so. Down in here we need a little bit of the white color. Something like that. But that'll help create that illusion that maybe there's a little frozen bank right there. Something like that. These little paintings are a lot of fun. They're good paintings to just sit down and experiment with. You know, we did one painting in this series. It sort of turned out to have an Oriental look to it, where we just sat down and we started playing and just working with color. These little paintings here you can do the same way. Don't be afraid to experiment. That's really where the fun of painting comes in, the joy of painting. It's in learning new things and experimenting, doing things that you've never done before. That's what's fun. Maybe there's some little areas right in here somewhere. I don't know. Just put a little blue on there and bring the white right up to it, like that. And it'll look like there's a little indentation there. That easy. That's sort of sneaky, but it works very well. Works very well. All right. Let's go back and play with some more trees. They're a lot of fun. I'm going to go back into that nice brown that I made from the sap green and the alizarin crimson. Just tap a little color right onto the brush. There you can see it. Very little color, very little. I know you get tired of hearing that, but if I don't say it too much, I'm afraid you're going to sock a big bunch of dark color up here and be very unhappy with me, because it takes such a small amount of color to create this particular illusion. Sometimes you want to create other illusions and you do use more color. But today, I'm trying to create softness. Take a little blue and a little crimson, mix it together. We'll make a little lavendery color. Let me wipe off all that excess again. I don't want much color. Maybe we have the indication right here of another little tree. Another little tree lives right there. There we go. I like doing all these little trees and bushes. That really is some of the most fantastic things, because I know there's all kind of little creatures that live there. I got to show you one more little feller. Shoot, we've showed you several animals in this series. I want to show you one more little fella that I think you'll just love. This is a little baby raccoon, just a tiny little thing. But I think he's one of the neatest little characters. I'm just painting his tree while we're watching it. I think he's just absolutely darling. There. By the time you see this, though, he's probably going to be grown and long gone, because it doesn't take too long for these little devils to grow up. They grow up quite rapidly. And then we turn them loose, because God intended for them to be free, and I believe that's where they should be. All right. Now then, let's take an old fan brush with just a little paint thinner on it. I want to flick it again, like that. Just right down here at the base of that. Let all those little things just happen. Watch them. That's exciting when that happens. It just turns me on to watch all that. I like that. See? And as you let the camera stay there just a second and watch what happens. See them? They just keep coming and coming. And you can do this and make great big ones or little ones. You can make them even run sometimes, and that's very pretty. That's good. Thank you. There. Now then. Let's go. I'll take a little bright red and put into my titanium white, just to give it a little pinky flavor, but I don't want to set it on fire. Don't want to set it on fire. And we'll put a little touch of snow that lives right in here. There, just lift it upward. Something about like that. There we go. I just take and lift it up because it just blends it together. And you can't tell where one stops and the next one starts. But very, very soft. This is a very gentle painting. Very soft. Okay, let me grab the old brush. Let's make another little layer. I'm having fun making all these. But notice that we complete one layer in this painting at a time and then come forward. Do one layer at a time, work forward. Always working forward. Maybe right in here. Yep, you're right. Lives another happy little tree. Just a little bushy devil. There he is. Wasn't that little raccoon cute? I work with a lot of the rehab people all over the country. And these little creatures are so important. I just think think you're so much fun to work with and to enjoy. And maybe the greatest pleasure of all is after you've raised one up and he's doing well. If he was orphaned, he's grown. If he was hurt, he's repaired. And the greatest pleasure is when you turn him loose and you see him go. Sometimes, I'm a big old softy, so sometimes that's a little hard for me to do because I sort of get attached to these rascals. But you have to remember, I'm going to take a little cad yellow. Oh, that's bright. That's nice. You have to remember once again, that's where God meant for them to be. Out there playing in the bushes and the trees and all that. They don't do well if you make pets out of them because they don't make very good pets. Even raccoons, as cute as they are when they're little, usually when they grow up, they get a little mean. So we let them go before they get that mean. Because when they get mean, then they're ready to take care of themselves. They don't need our help anymore. There. Okay. But look at all the different layers of planes, if you want to call them such, in this painting. That's what creates that illusion of depth and distance in it. I'm going to take a little phthalo blue. I keep saying phthalo blue. I meant Prussian blue. I don't have any phthalo blue in this painting. Prussian blue. You could use phthalo blue if you wanted. A little bit on brush. Let's go up here. I just wanted in this particular painting a little colder blue. I'll put a little blue right in here just to make some shadows with, and we'll come back with just white and go right back over it. And then those shadows then will be underneath. Isn't that neat? But work back and forth between blues and some of your little pinks and whatever. You can just do all kinds of wonderful things. Painting is so much fun. It really is one of those things that it's a lot of fun. There. And I think only nice people paint. Annette and I have traveled for many years, and that's my partner. She travels with me all over the country, and we do a lot of shows for PBS stations around the country and even in some foreign countries. And I have never met a person who paints that's not a very nice person. So I think it goes with what you're doing. And maybe I'm just very prejudiced. I don't know. I just think nice people paint. I'm going to put an indication here and there of a little stick and a twig, using just a clean brush with paint thinner on it. Don't want these to stand out too much, just here and there. And they'll continue to work for a little while after you go away. See, that one's getting bigger and bigger as you sit there and watch it. All you're doing is removing paint. You're removing paint. And we can take a little paint thinner with a little brown on it. And here and there we can bounce in some that are a little darker. I don't want them too dark. No, I want them too dark. Keep them light. There. Take a little of that brown we made, put a little paint thinner with it. And maybe back here there's an old tree. What's left of an old tree? Got to make those little noises to get the crooks and the hurts and the pain that's in this old tree, because he's had a hard life. He's had a hard one. Times were tough when he was just a little guy. There, poor thing. But he's okay now. There, little old squirrel lives up here in his limbs, and they get along fine. There, see, got a little tree in there now. Get a little more white on the brush. Reach right up here and grab a little of that, pull it out. So there's some snow right around his foots. Right around his foots. Maybe back in here, just here and there you can make out a few more little things. I don't want these to be too dark. I want them to be just almost hidden back here. But they're there. They're there. All right, you know me. It's time. If you painted with me very long, you know I like big trees. And this being the last show of this series, we should not end without having at least one big tree. Let's take some Van Dyke Brown, put on your bravery suit, and let's see where you're at today. Because we're going to put us a big tree right here using Van Dyke Brown, a little dark sienna. I'm just sort of mixing them together, using the old filbert brush today. I think we'll do really a rough tree. This one has really had a tough life. When he was little, maybe a big deer came through here, big buck, and stepped right on him. hurt him. Really put some crooks in his back. Whatever. There we go. Give him some big foot. He needs a big old foot to stand out here. Take all this abuse he's getting. There we go. See? I had a letter from a psychiatrist one time, and he said I had really lost it. I had even given the trees arms and foots. And I wrote him back and told him, yeah, I had. But it was my world. And everything in my world was happy. And if I wanted my trees to have arms and foots, that was okay. There. But I got several letters from him. Very nice gentleman. And he finally agreed with me. If I wanted arms and foots on my trees, he said, I guess that's okay. But in his world, he had a little more sanity than I did. He didn't have arms and foots on his. There we go. I'm just putting on some low old limbs that live out here. Boy, these are tough-looking old rascals. But I like a tree with character. I get tired of just trees that are straight and standing tall and telephone companies out looking for them. I like trees that really look like they've had some interesting things happen in their life. There. And animals all like these kind of trees because they have good places to hide. All right. We'll just take a little snow and bring it right down from the foot here. Maybe we'll take it right up like that. Something like so. Okay, a little bit of blue just to make a little shadow. Goes right into there, like that. Let's take a knife, mix up a little brown. That's a little dark sienna, a little Van Dyke, a little white. Mix them together. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna wipe off this brush. We'll just keep using that filbert for the time being. I'm just gonna let it barely touch and graze, and put the indication here and there of all kinds of things. Now when this dries, this paint is very thick. You can actually feel this bark on here. See it? There. See, just let the brush bounce and play, barely touch. Some of these limbs will come right on out, some it won't. Depends on which side of the tree you put them on. It's up to you. You can put them anywhere, any way that you want them. Boy, that's a ragged looking old tree, isn't it? That's so rough, I don't even know if my squirrel could climb it. Yeah, he could. I still have Squirrely Girly Brown. Squirrely Girl, who's lived with me for several years. I'm gonna make a little fence, I think. All right, come right here. There's a little post. Squirrely Girl, the veterinarians have told me, has epilepsy and can never be released. They told me about 2 years ago that she would only live for 6 more months. And you know what? Squirrely didn't know that. She's still hanging in there. And she's doing fine. I'm gonna make his fence. There. Comes right around like that. And maybe be on that side. And maybe over here. Maybe this one comes right on off. This is one of them that goes around. Whoops, we didn't make that one go all the way through. It'd fall off. We can take a little white. I'm gonna put a little liquid white with it just to make it a little thinner. We can come along in here, put the indication of some nice snow things that are hanging around up in here. There. You could do this with a liner brush if you have trouble controlling a brush this big. It is a little easier. But I got using this today, so it, whatever, doesn't much matter. Boy, that's a rough looking old fence too. There, I like paintings though that have character, style to them like this. A little bit of that blue and white. Put some snow under this old tree's foot. There. If you pick up a little of that color, that's just wonderful because it will create the illusion of shadows in there, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some shadows in our world. There. Like that. All right. Now then, something about like so. Maybe we'll take our little script liner brush, a little bit of that brown color, And maybe there's some weeds and grassy little things that grow all out in here. Because if this guy, he probably took care of his fence about like I do mine. He let the weeds just about eat it up. You can take a little fan brush. We'll use number 3. It doesn't matter though. Pop in a few little bigger weeds wherever you think they should be. And you can put all kinds of little details in here. It's up to you. You have to make these big decisions. You have to decide where all these little things live. There's some more. See there? And you just drop them in. A few more little twigs and sticks. Big old bush lives right there. Shoot, I think we're about down to where we have a painting we can sign. We'll take a little red. We'll sign this one right down here. And with that, I'd like to bring this series to a close. And I'd like to thank you very, very much for being with us during this entire series, and I hope to see you again very soon. We've already started the next series, and I look forward to painting with you in the future. And from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting, and God bless, my friend.
This program is brought to you by a grant from Northlight Books, publisher of over 200 how-to books and videos for fine artists and graphic designers, and by the Martin F. Weber Company, manufacturers of a wide range of fine artist materials and exclusive U.S. distributor of Whatman watercolor and printmaking papers.